If you've wanted to get into game development, you've probably watched tutorial videos on how to make games. I have recently wanted to get into developing games with Godot, as I primarily used Pygame before, but Godot offers a lot more features that Pygame lacks. I wanted to share my experience with 3 main tutorial videos that I watched and let you guys know the best features of each tutorial and the weaknesses of each tutorial. Alright, so the first tutorial was the recent tutorial made by Brackeys. In this tutorial, you're making a platformer game similar to Mario. By completing this tutorial, you will have a player, tiles, you will also have moving tiles, collectible coins, a player death, an enemy, be able to show text on the screen, a score, and music. Overall, I would say that this tutorial provides everything basic that you would need for a 2D platformer, and I am also satisfied with my end result. The nodes that were used to make this game was character body 2D, animated sprite 2D, camera 2D, static body 2D, collision shape 2D, animated body 2D, sprite 2D, tile map, animation player, area 2D, timer, raycast 2D, label, and audio stream player 2D. So overall, it went through a bunch of the basic 2D nodes, and I think this tutorial is a great starting point for making 2D games, and specifically 2D platformer games. The next tutorial is from GD Quest. It is their tutorial on how to make a top-down vampire survivor game. When you finish this game, you'll have a player, slime enemy, a background, a gun and a projectile, trees, a health bar, random spawning, and a game over screen. It is also important to note that this video is 2 hours long compared to the last tutorial by Brackeys, which was only an hour 15 minutes long. So you're spending around twice the amount of time for less features than the Brackeys tutorial. However, the GD Quest tutorial goes at an even slower pace than Brackeys, which could be helpful if you don't have any experience in making games. There are also provided scenes, mostly just for animation purposes, but still keep in mind that you aren't making everything yourself. The nodes that this project uses are the character body 2D, collision shape 2D, static body 2D, camera 2D, area 2D, sprite 2D, marker 2D, path 2D, path follow 2D, the animation player, color rec, canvas layer, timer, progress bar, and label. So around the same amount of nodes as the Brackeys tutorial, with a lot of overlap in nodes used. Overall, I would say this project is still really good, but I do think I preferred the Brackeys tutorial just because it was more concise while also still being very detailed. It also made a finished product that I liked better, and I liked that in the Brackeys tutorial, I did not have to use any pre-made scenes. The third tutorial I followed was quite a bit different than the other tutorials. It was a video made by Bramwell. It is a tutorial to make a 3D platformer. Just this one video is only the start to a paid course that he offers, but I did like that this tutorial does give a good foundation on a 3D platformer game. Do keep in mind though that the finished product is just a capsule object and a floor with collisions and basic 3D movement and camera controls. It is also the shortest video with only around 40 minutes of video length, so I think having less features is expected. The nodes that this tutorial uses are the node 3D, camera 3D, directional light 3D, mesh instance 3D, rigid body 3D, collision shape 3D, static body 3D, and world environment. So a lot less nodes, but these nodes are in the 3D portion of Godot, which the other 2 videos dealt with no 3D and only 2D. Overall, I like this video, but I would not recommend it unless you specifically wanted to do 3D game development in Godot. So to recap, the best tutorial in my opinion was probably the Brackeys tutorial. The only problem being that he only has 2 Godot videos at the time of recording this, but that is my personal preference. If you want a longer video, you would probably like the GD Quest video. It is slower, but it may be easier for you to understand. But if you also wanted a 3D game, neither the Brackeys or the GD Quest video would help with that. And I think the Bramwell video is very well made, but it just does not go over a lot of 3D related mechanics. But I would still recommend this as a starting place for 3D game development. So every video is great depending on what you want. You just have to choose one and start making games. Now lastly, if you like this video, I would appreciate if you subscribed. I plan on making more Godot related content or game development content in general, so make sure to stay tuned.